Hi, it's Laura here from laurathomasauthor.com. I'm an author and a book lover, and today I'm bringing you something a little bit different. I have 10 of my favorite World War II fiction novels that I'm going to just give you a quick flyby. I'm going to tell you my favorite thing that I love about each one, and hopefully we'll get through them super quickly and you'll find something new to read. I write contemporary Christian fiction, and so when I want a pure pleasure read, I usually go to something that I don't write. And so World War II fiction novels are a treat for me to read, and I'm going to bring you some really exciting ones today. My 10 picks include settings in France, Germany, England, and Guernsey. There are libraries, books, vineyards, villages, cities, a castle, and a circus. We have intrigue, mystery, romance, suspense, faith, friendship, and family. This book stack has it all. So I hope you're ready. Here we go. The first book is The Nightingale by Kristin Hannah. It's harrowing, heartbreaking, and hopeful. The Nightingale drew me in deeply when I first read it. This beautiful setting in France and the relationship between two sisters during World War II, the surreal struggle for survival is just, it makes for a compelling read. And the thing I loved most about this book is this quote: "In love, we find out who we want to be, and in war, we find out who we are." Next. Here we have The Winemaker's Wife by Kristin Harmel. This is a time-split story from the perspective of Inès and Celine, who are two young women living in the Champagne region vineyards of France during World War II. It's also got modern-day American Liv, who comes to visit the area with her aging grandmother and discovers some really shocking secret about her family's past. It's thoroughly enjoyable read, betrayal, redemption, forgiveness, and the thing I loved was the romantic setting and just learning a little bit about this Champagne region in France. Next we have The Orphan's Tale by Pam Jenoff. Now, this is a heartbreaking story of an unlikely friendship between a teenage girl who's actually disowned by her family and a beautiful Jewish aerialist in a traveling circus of all things. It's set in World War II Germany and France, and we see, even amidst the nightmare of war, how the show must go on for the circus performers. And the thing I loved about this really was that the traveling circus were determined to uplift and entertain the people who are struggling so much during wartime. Next. The Paris Library by Janet Skeslien-Charles. The Paris Library is an unforgettable time-split story of how the power of literature brings us together. It's 1939 Paris, and it's also 1983 Montana, and it's so much about literature and libraries and books, and the bond between book lovers, the bite of betrayal. It's a captivating story for book lovers everywhere. And the thing that I loved about this is about the librarians, how they were willing to actually risk their lives during wartime just because of their love of literature, and how this was actually based on true events. It's a fantastic read. Next. The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society by Mary Ann Schaefer and Annie Barrows. This is a quote from the book. "Perhaps there is some secret sort of homing instinct in books that brings them to their perfect readers. How delightful if that were true. Julie Ashton is a female writer in post-World War II London, and she happens upon this quirky book club on the beautiful island of Guernsey, and we then follow her as she navigates romantic relationships, friendships new and old, and also devastating revelations with strength and a writer's pure curiosity. Things I loved about this was that it's an epistolary novel. So the entire book is written in letter format, which is really, really clever. Next. When Twilight Breaks by Sarah Sundin. This is a thrilling Christian fiction novel set in Germany, right at the brink of World War II. We have a feisty American foreign correspondent who's based in Germany, and we also have an American graduate student working on his PhD. And we have this budding touch and go friendship, and they end up running for their lives. There's so much in this story, so much depth, really well researched. And the thing I loved was the faith element running throughout it. I think this might be my first Christian World War II novel that I've read, and she's a fabulous author. Next. The Book of Lost Names by Kristin Harmel. This is inspired by a true story from World War II, and it's a time-split novel again. We have a retired, semi-retired librarian in Florida who ends up going back to Europe as she has to relive some painful memories that only she can answer some questions about how when she was a young forger during the war, she actually helped Jewish children flee to the safety of Switzerland. And what I really loved about this is the heart behind not wanting the names of these lost children to be forever forgotten. So yeah, beautiful, beautiful story. Next. Everyone Brave is Forgiven by Chris Cleave. This is a witty, raw love story that's set in London during the Blitz. It brings to life the sheer horror of living through that particular time in the great city, when everything around them was just crumbling in ruins, yet people just had their stiff upper lip and went about their business. It's a fiction novel, yet Chris Cleave did so much research on this, and some of the characters are actually based on his own grandparents. It's brilliant. And the thing I loved really was the extent of the research that he did, and that he just, all the details that he depicted so well, and the witty dialogue as well. Really, really worth reading. Next. The Lost Girls of Paris by Pam Jenoff. In post-war New York, we have a young widow who finds an abandoned suitcase in the Grand Central Station, and it contains some photographs of 12 women who were secret agents from London to occupied France. This is such a gripping story. It's a great mystery. There's intrigue, romance, and terror. It's inspired again by true events, and it's really, really well researched and a fantastic read. Things I loved about this book was the mystery involved and also the wonderful setting of Paris, because I love Paris. Next. Last one. The Women in the Castle by Jessica Shattuck. This mesmerizing novel follows the lives of 3 widows in the aftermath of the destruction of Germany after World War II. It's a castle which used to hold lavish parties is now literally a place where, in its decrepit state, where they get to hide out and try and just salvage what's left of their lives. There's perseverance, resourcefulness, forgiveness, all portrayed so vividly in this story. Unexpected friendships. It's very, very well researched again and brilliantly penned. And what I loved about it is that it brought attention to the courage and resilience of so many widows in the post-war era. That's it. We made it through all 10 novels. If you stayed with me, thank you so much and well done. If you would like to read a little bit more about those books, I've actually done a blog post, which I'll link to in the notes right below here, so you can read up on those books. Also, if you want to pick up a copy, I have my Amazon links included below as well. And for now, I'm just gonna wish you a happy reading. If you have any World War II novels that you can recommend to me, please leave them in the comments, or if you've read any of these, let me know what you think. And you can always find me over at laurathomasauthor.com. Thanks so much for watching.